here in Jarrow upon Tyneside, the once bustling shipyard and industrial town in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, asking the question, is it last orders for the Great British Pub? In the mid-19th century, thousands of Irish immigrants seeking work turned Jarrow from a small riverside village into a busy industrial town. The working days were long and arduous in atrocious conditions, with the only respite being the thought of a few well-earned beers and sing-along at one of the 54 public houses that vied for their trade. With very few home comforts, no radio or television, everyone's social life revolved around the Great British Pub. A magnificent community spirit was generated, which would prove invaluable for the 2 world wars that lay ahead. Those brave Jarrow ancestors could never have foreseen the plight of their town a century later. Where are the pubs of yesteryear, which filled Jarrow with great cheer? They threw their darts and sang their songs and drank that lovely beer. Where are the pubs of Jarrow town? Fond thoughts still remain. So just sit back whilst I take you down memory lane. There was the Borough, the Globe, and the Harbour Lights, the cottage with its charms, the Robin Hood, the Grange and Staith House, not forgetting the Forester's Arms. The Hilton Castle painted green, the Alkali painted red, the Annick Castle, the Prince of Wales, and of course the old Queen's Head. The Western and the Rolling Mill, together side by side, and the beer in the East Ferry Inn was affected by the tide. Along the road, the old Bridge Inn stood there on its own, and the beer and the Telegraph made the old man groan. The Allison Arms, the Alexandra, the Golden Lion too, the Rose and Crown, the Royal Oak, of which they're numbered 2, the Queen's Arms and Queen's Hotel, pack them in all standing, the Commercial Hotel, oh what a sight, is that the ferry landing? Who'll forget the Forge and Hammer, with the cage monkey so cute, the County and Duke of Wellington, known as the Boot, the Crown and Anchor in 42 quenched the wartime fears, as did the Tynemouth Castle, Northeastern and the Engineers. The Ben Lomond, smack in the centre of the town, the Golden Fleece, a great old name again, they're numbered 2. The Nelson in Walter Street, in Hedworth Lane the Greyhound. The Theatre Bar in Market Square sold 10 pints for £1. The Lord Nelson in Monkton Village was once amongst the farms, the Station Hotel managed by Fred, further down the Ellison Arms. And what about the old Bell Rock in Nixon Street it stood? Finally, the Albion Inn, nestled behind the town hall. I hope you enjoyed your memories, your little walk down memory lane of happy nights and sometimes fights of days no longer here. Though things change and times move on and good friends drift apart, those memories of Jarrow pubs will live forever in your hearts. I'm in Jarrow Town Centre, October 2020, deep in the COVID-19 crisis. Where once 54 pubs traded, there are now only 4 left open. The Crown and Anchor, Johnny's, the Ben Lomond and the Albion, each desperately trying to stay afloat. Can they possibly survive? I'm here at the Albion Inn with Charlotte Wilkinson, the manageress. Charlotte, how has trade been since COVID-19?
It's been totally devastating for business. There's so much confusion. The government, the council, the police, there's so many mixed messages. Alan, you could say how small our pub is. The government said they wanted to form a pavement society from outside drinking. So we spent a fortune on outside seating and put them on the wasteland next to the pub. Come Monday morning, the council arrive and tell us to remove the tables. Then there's the rule of 6. One evening I noticed 6 sitting together and realised one of them wasn't from that family. As I went over to challenge him, I realised he was in a bubble. There's also been variants on noise rules. In September, a pub very near to us had a Magnus tribute band on outside. That same day, our landlord was singing the final number of the evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time at the Albion. See your drinks off, please. This is the final number of the evening. Taxis outside for all destinations. Softly, I will leave you softly, for my heart would break if you should wake and see me go. So I leave. In October 1936, around 200 men set off for London on a march seeking employment, which became known as the Jarrow Crusade. Today, 84 years after the event, long-standing publicans of Jarrow are having a final pint before they once again set off for London in protest. I asked long-standing publican Norman Scott what the intentions of the marchers were.
Well, the government's going to have to listen. You know, there used to be 59 pubs in Jarrow, and soon there'll be none. No pubs in Jarrow. Can you imagine that?
At the time of film recording, there are now only 4 public houses trading in Jarrow Town Centre. All 4 desperately trying to stay afloat. Away from the public glare, I took the opportunity to ask Norman why, at 58 years of age, he was preparing to march hundreds of miles to London.
Alan man, I'm not sleeping at all properly. I can't get these pubs closures out of my mind. And I'm having these stupid dreams night after night. So all I keep seeing is this mad Scotsman, Barry Gibb and the Bee Gees. My head's done in. It's just going round and round.
You shut the front door, and I'll shut the back door. And that's the end of Ben Lomond.
Nobody gets in the crown anymore. The boss is closing, he's closing the door. Johnny's, we remember you. Johnny's, we remember you. Now that Johnny's Band and Grounder are closed, there's only one public house in town. The Albion Inn. It's Jarrow, January 2036. And 84-year-old publican Jess McConnell is closing the last public house in Jarrow. To close the pub, no customers in there. You never knew that I could do that, just walking away. Are Norman Scott's bizarre dreams just restless sleep? Or are they a terrifying psychic vision of Jarrow in 2036? Jarrow is coming like a ghost town. All the pubs have closed down. Jarrow is coming like a ghost town. Bands won't play no more. Too much fighting on the dance floor.
Can you imagine Jarrow 2045? A town without any public houses. A town that has lost its community spirit. People rarely leave their homes. A robotic image of themselves that has studied their every action since birth, answers all media inquiries. Amazon delivers 70% of your household needs, and Greg's Bakery pipe their savory fillings into your home alongside your energy suppliers.
Social distancing has been replaced by no socializing. Wednesday, November the 4th, 2020. Tomorrow, England goes into lockdown for a second time. We've reached a pivotal moment. We're about to enter the most brutal winter since the Second World War. If that period was classed as our finest hour, could this be our worst? I've been in Jarrow for just a few days, and I've witnessed a fierce determination and spirit to fight this virus head-on. Back at the Albion, the second Jarrow March is set to leave. Boris Johnson and his cabinet have bombarded us with rhyming COVID messages. As the marchers prepared to set off, they revealed their very own. On Track and Trace.
Track and trace. Waste of space.
on the Great British Pub.
Use it or lose it.
And their key slogan,
Rub-a-dub-dub. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Save the pub.
as the marchers set off on Wednesday, November the 4th, 2020, I couldn't help but reflect, is the town of Jarrow sending a message to the United Kingdom? We're all in this together. We are stronger as a United Kingdom. Protect the old and vulnerable. Work as hard and efficiently with absolute due care. Protect the NHS and treasure their incredible staff. And finally, if we are ever going to return to normality, never forget the part played by the Great British Pub.